What is up, guys? Wrestling Premiere is here. I remember someone requested this video, and whoever requested this commented down below so I could give you a shout out. Anyways, I owe you guys some Ruthless Aggression era content, so here it is. I still have to finish that decade video as I'm still writing the script on it and stuff, and I'm almost done with the script. It looks like it's gonna be the next video, so yeah, that is why the decade video has been taking so long. Once I finish the script, you best be certain it will be the next video. I didn't want to miss a day on my schedule, so that is why I made this Brock Lesnar video. Now, if I ever miss a day and I don't post on that day, let's just say I should get a punishment for that day. So maybe I should be punished with a terrible pay-per-view like Bash at the Beach 2000, Victory Road 2011, Great American Bash 2004, something like that. So if I ever do miss a day, the video that will come after that day is going to be about a terrible pay-per-view. I'm going to have to watch it and review it. So that is my punishment. Unless you guys have a better idea, then commenting down below as to what my punishment should be if I skip a day of uploading. In this video, I cover Brock Lesnar's first run from 2002 to 2004. Lesnar during this run had an amateur wrestling style, which is different from the style he uses nowadays. I really love watching Lesnar. I just don't like when they give him the title and he barely appears. If he did appear weekly, not wrestle but scout the talent, then maybe I would like him more. Like, if he was there to scout the talent, I'd appreciate him more. This first run he had was something special, so let's dive into it. Brock Lesnar was a two-time NCAA Division All-American. Lesnar won the 2000 NCAA Championship, and when you see these accomplishments, you know why they call him the next big thing. Lesnar signed with the WWF in 2000, and he was sent to OVW. Lesnar competed in OVW for 2 years before debuting on the main roster. On March 18th, 2002, the night after WrestleMania 18, Brock Lesnar made his presence felt in the WWF. Lesnar destroyed many superstars during the hardcore match. Paul Heyman accompanied the Beast to the ring. Paul Heyman was last seen being kicked out of the arena after the Alliance was gone. The next week, Brock Lesnar once again interfered during a title match. This time, it was a European Championship match. Lesnar destroyed Rikishi and he delivered the F5 to Rikishi. Lesnar that night was drafted to Raw. On the first Raw of the new era, the next big thing once again interfered in the match. This time, Lesnar went after the Hardys. Lesnar annihilated them as expected, and the Beast gave Matt Hardy a F5 and Hardy was given 3 power bombs. This was the start of Lesnar's feud with both of the Hardys. Paul Heyman would put over Lesnar the next week, calling him the next big thing. The Hardys would come out and they attacked Lesnar. Brock overpowered them, but the Hardys grabbed 2 steel chairs, and both of the Hardys hit some of the loudest chair shots you'll ever hear to send Lesnar out of the ring, and Lesnar didn't even fall to the ground from these chair shots. It only made the Beast angry. Heyman restrained Lesnar away from the Hardys. A match was eventually made for Backlash. Brock Lesnar to face Jeff Hardy. Lesnar won that match via referee stoppage. The feud between Lesnar and the Hardys continued into Judgment Day, where the Beast teamed up with his agent Paul Heyman to face the Hardys. Lesnar and Heyman won the match to end the feud. The next big thing moved on to bigger and better things by qualifying for the King of the Ring. Lesnar beat Bubba Ray Dudley in the round of 16, and the next week, the next big thing was supposed to face Stone Cold, but Austin walked out of the company. The Beast beat Booker T in the quarterfinals, and at the pay-per-view, Brock Lesnar beat Test to make it to the finals. The next big thing defeated Rob Van Dam to get a undisputed championship match at SummerSlam. So Brock Lesnar was now King of the Ring. This was quite impressive. The Rock would win the undisputed championship at Vengeance. Lesnar on that week, SmackDown would send The Rock a message by F5ing Hulk Hogan. Now, the F5 meant that The Rock and Hogan didn't win the tag titles. During the build-up to SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar destroyed Hulk Hogan on the August 8th episode of SmackDown, and he wiped the blood of Hulkamania on his chest. That's a star-making moment for Lesnar. At SummerSlam, Brock and Rock had a good match. The crowd disliked The Rock, and I don't recall if they were cheering Lesnar though. Anyways, the match would end with a smooth rock bottom counter into an F5, and Lesnar became the youngest WWE champion ever. One thing I really like about The Rock is the fact that he puts over anyone during a match. He doesn't refuse to put over someone. He goes out there and he does the job. Lesnar would leave Raw for SmackDown, and the undisputed championship was exclusive to SmackDown. Also, it was renamed to the WWE Championship. Lesnar began a feud with The Undertaker on SmackDown. The feud intensified after Brock Lesnar laid his hands on The Undertaker's wife. Lesnar touched her stomach, basically touching the unborn child of The Undertaker, and he told her that life is a bitch. The Undertaker was livid, and the next week he said that payback's a bitch. Just covering this feud reminds me of the song Adrenaline. Adrenaline keeps me. I love this time period in WWE in general. It was so fun. Anyways, the match at Unforgiven ended in a no contest. Undertaker ended up throwing Lesnar through the Unforgiven sign, so it was clear that this feud is far from over. A few weeks later, Brock Lesnar broke The Undertaker's hand with a propane tank. Stephanie McMahon would break the news to Lesnar, and she'd tell Lesnar that he is going to hell in a cell at No Mercy. Now, the match at No Mercy was violent and bloody. I believe this match helped Lesnar's career immensely. Sure, the SummerSlam match put him on the map, but this match to me is what cemented Lesnar as the top guy in WWE permanently. That shot of Lesnar on top of the Hell in a Cell is so iconic. After the Beast's victory, he began acting a bit like a face. On that week's SmackDown, he showed some respect to The Undertaker, and he told Taker that the reason why he got personal with him is because he needed an edge, so that is why he got Taker's wife involved. Undertaker even said that Lesnar was the better man Sunday. Like, when do you ever hear The Undertaker saying someone's better than him? Never. So WWE was going all in with Lesnar. They wanted him to be the centerpiece of the company for many years to come. That same night, Big Show issued a challenge to Brock Lesnar for his WWE Championship. Paul Heyman was reluctant to the offer, but then Lesnar pushed him and accepted the match. At this point, Lesnar was a tweener. He was starting to become a face. In the weeks leading to Survivor Series, Heyman told his own client that he can't beat the Big Show. Lesnar didn't like this. Anyways, Big Show had the upper hand on Lesnar for a few weeks until the go-home show where Lesnar brutalized the Giant. Heading into Survivor Series, Lesnar's ribs were taped because Big Show threw Lesnar off the stage, so that is why his ribs are taped. The match at Survivor Series involved shenanigans. Paul Heyman turned on his client. After Lesnar hit an F5 on the Big Show, Paul Heyman pulled the ref from out the ring and he assaulted him. Lesnar would realize that he has been betrayed and he'd run after Heyman, but then Big Show blasted Lesnar in the ribs with a chair and he chokeslammed him onto the chair for the victory. So Big Show randomly won the title. Like, he just moved to SmackDown like a month earlier and he was booked to be like this monster. It's so funny how things could change within a month in WWE at the time. Nowadays, I don't think someone could randomly come and win a major title like that. After Survivor Series, Lesnar took his frustrations out on Matt Hardy and the Big Show. He threw Matt Hardy through a freaking wall, and the Big Show, he was assaulted over the next few weeks. Like, Big Show wasn't safe. Lesnar was suspended after he disobeyed Stephanie's orders. Oh, and Paul Heyman put a clause in Lesnar's contract that states Lesnar couldn't get a rematch for the title. Lesnar's suspension was lifted after he helped Kurt Angle win the WWE Championship from the Big Show at Armageddon. Angle before the match told Lesnar that if he helps him win the title, then he'll give him a title shot. Lesnar F5'd Big Show during the match to help Kurt Angle capture his third WWE Championship. On that week's SmackDown, Angle bamboozled Lesnar by siding with Paul Heyman and announcing that Lesnar isn't getting his title shot because of that clause in Lesnar's contract. The Beast responded to this news by taking out Kurt Angle. Lesnar delivered an F5 to Angle onto the steel post to end that week's SmackDown. Now, Lesnar was going to have to work his way up the card again if he wanted another title shot. So, the Beast faced Big Show at the Royal Rumble. The winner would go on to compete at the Rumble later that night. Lesnar won that match, and he entered the Rumble later on. The Beast entered at number 29, and he eliminated 4 men en route to getting his title match at WrestleMania 19 against Kurt Angle. In the build-up to the match, Kurt Angle did defend the gold against Brock Lesnar. Okay, let me talk about it right now. On the March 13th, 2003 episode of SmackDown, Kurt Angle faced Brock Lesnar for the title. Now, this was initially going to end with Brock Lesnar winning the title in 3 seconds, and he'd go on to face Chris Benoit at WrestleMania. Now, for those of you that don't know about this, the reason why Lesnar was going to win the title before WrestleMania was because Kurt Angle was injured. He had neck issues, and there was a concern over whether or not he could make it to the show of shows. Thankfully, though, Angle was able to make it to WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar had a classic. Unfortunately, though, the match was remembered for the freak accident. Brock Lesnar attempted a shooting star press on Angle, and Angle was a bit too far away. Lesnar instead landed on his head, and he nearly died out there. The two willed their way through the rest of the match, and Lesnar delivered a third F5 on Kurt Angle to get the win. It was a great way to end WrestleMania. The Beast's title reign began with a match against John Cena at Backlash. John Cena was taken out by Lesnar a few months beforehand, and the Doctor of Thugonomics won a tournament to get his match against Lesnar. The Beast beat Cena, and he restarted his rivalry with a Big Show. This was around the time where Big Show swung a stretcher that Rey Mysterio was on into the ring post, and Rey fell face first without protection into the floor. So obviously Big Show was hated. Like, he acted like such a bully to Rey. How could you like someone that swung a stretcher bound Rey Mysterio? That's messed up. Oh yeah, he also threw Rey into the crowd on an episode of SmackDown, so there's that. Lesnar didn't like the fact that Big Show bullied Rey, and that's how this feud was restarted. The Beast faced Big Show in a stretcher match at Judgment Day. That match was loads of fun. It did start off slow, but then it got better as it progressed. Brock Lesnar used a damn forklift to lift Big Show, who was on a stretcher, and drive him to the finish line. Maybe I should go back and watch it, because last time I watched it, I did enjoy it. After this match, the feud between the two continued, but this time Kurt Angle was added to the fray. Oh yeah, Lesnar and Big Show broke the ring on that June 12th episode of SmackDown. Iconic moment. At Vengeance, Lesnar lost the title to Kurt Angle. During this time period, Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar were best friends. They had these segments in which the two were having fun with one another. Lesnar showed more personality in those segments than he has in the last 2 years, except for the dance he did with a briefcase. That was awesome. Like, that in itself was one of Lesnar's best moments ever. Eventually, Mr. McMahon got involved and he revealed the real Brock Lesnar. Lesnar turned on Angle on the August 7th episode of SmackDown, turning heel again. I don't know why Lesnar turned heel, but whatever. The two faced off in a WrestleMania rematch at SummerSlam. That match was epic. I really liked the fact that Angle made Lesnar tap out. It helped Angle massively, as he made all the top guys tap out to the ankle lock up to this point. He even made the Undertaker tap out, so that's one hell of an accomplishment. Lesnar would face Angle in a rematch on the September 18th episode of SmackDown. This time though, it was a 60-minute Iron Man match. Now that match could be the best in the feud of Angle and Lesnar's, but it's up to you. I do know one thing about this match. It's one of the greatest SmackDown matches in history. Brock Lesnar ended up winning this one, and he won the WWE Championship in the process of doing so. Also, the feud between Lesnar and Angle was over. Lesnar moved on from Angle to The Undertaker. The Undertaker got a title match against Lesnar at No Mercy, and the match was a biker chain match. That match was a bit too long, and it ended with Mr. McMahon interfering and costing The Undertaker the WWE Championship. From there, Lesnar focused on Survivor Series. The Beast captained a monstrous team that included Big Show, Nathan Jones, Matt Morgan, and A-Train, so that is the most ruthless aggression era team you could get, like big strong guys of that era, you know. Initially, John Cena was gonna join the team, but instead he turned down the offer, turning face in the process. Lesnar at Survivor Series was the second to last man eliminated. Big Show ended up being the last man from Team Lesnar to be eliminated, and so they lost the match. After Survivor Series, Hardcore Holly returned and he wanted retribution. Lesnar broke his neck a year earlier, and that is why Hardcore Holly wanted revenge. To be honest, this was a bizarre feud between Holly and Lesnar. Holly was nowhere near Lesnar's level at all. Hardcore Holly faced Brock Lesnar in a WWE Championship match at the Royal Rumble. Lesnar made easy work of Holly and he was proud of himself. I believe that match lasted 5 minutes, I'm not sure. Later that night, Goldberg was being interviewed by Terry when Lesnar interrupted and asked Terry to interview him because he beat Hardcore Holly. Lesnar made a jab at Goldberg, mentioning that he's no longer champion. Goldberg then said that he's gonna win the Rumble and at WrestleMania he's gonna regain his title. Goldberg then insinuated that he's speaking to Hardcore Holly, who was behind Lesnar, or so he thought, as Lesnar turned around and there was no one there, and Lesnar was scared. Goldberg then mentioned that some people have the nerve to call Mick Foley a coward, so basically he's calling Lesnar a coward without calling him a coward. During the Royal Rumble match, Goldberg was on fire until Lesnar interfered and F5'd Goldberg. Goldberg ended up being eliminated by Kurt Angle. The feud intensified after Stone Cold Steve Austin handed Goldberg a ticket to No Way Out. Austin warned Goldberg, telling him not to do anything he wouldn't do. At No Way Out, Goldberg speared Lesnar, and Eddie Guerrero capitalized on this by becoming the new WWE Champion. Spectacular moment. Eddie Guerrero is one of the only guys to beat Lesnar. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and John Cena were the only guys to beat Lesnar since his return, so it makes Eddie look good. I do believe Triple H beat Lesnar too. On that week's SmackDown, Lesnar was sad. He was on the verge of crying. Like, you should go watch that. Lesnar said that Eddie Guerrero stole his title, and he blames Goldberg for this, and he said that he can't sleep at night. Brock Lesnar then got down on his knees, and he begged Mr. McMahon for a WrestleMania match with Goldberg. Now, before I talk about that match, let me mention one thing. If you watch SmackDown in late 2003, it looked like Brock Lesnar was going to face Chris Benoit at WrestleMania. Then again, Lesnar and Goldberg did confront one another at Survivor Series, so maybe that's what they planned in the first place. They had this planned out. Anyways, the match was made for WrestleMania, and Stone Cold Steve Austin was the guest referee for this match. During the build-up to the match, Brock Lesnar F5'd Stone Cold, and he stole his ATV. Lesnar rode on it for 2 weeks before Stone Cold paid a visit to the Beast on SmackDown. Stone Cold kicked Lesnar's ass and he got back his ATV. A few days before WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar announced backstage that he is leaving WWE. Lesnar's reasons for leaving WWE were that he's burnt out, he didn't want to feud with a dead man because he wasn't gonna win the feud, and he wants to try out for the NFL. This was so sudden, and Goldberg also was leaving too because his contract expired that month, so the match was gonna suck. Lesnar was initially going to beat Goldberg in like 9 seconds or something like that. Instead, we had one of the worst matches in WrestleMania history. They didn't even try to have a good match. It was pure trash. It sucked so much that Shane McMahon was joining along with the fans in booing this dumpster fire. Goldberg ended up winning this poor excuse of a match, and afterwards the fans chanted na 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 hey 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 goodbye to Lesnar. Then Lesnar flipped the crowd. Lesnar would also flip Stone Cold, who then proceeded to deliver the stunner to Lesnar. After that, Austin cracked a cold one with Goldberg, but then he gave him a stunner. Good riddance for those two. This is exactly what was supposed to happen to them, because they were leaving. Why would you make them look good? Lesnar went on to sign with the Minnesota Vikings, and Lesnar did play some preseason games for them, but he was ultimately released on August 30th. At least he made it to Madden 05. Like, he's in that game. If you go and search that, you'll find him on the roster, so yeah. Lesnar, after that, competed in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he even won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Following that, Lesnar signed with the UFC, and you know the story. He won the UFC Heavyweight Championship, and he was doing well outside of WWE. It wasn't until November of 2011 where Lesnar had any kind of contract with WWE, as he was included in the WWE 12 game. For those of you who did play that game, do you remember when Lesnar randomly popped up in Universe mode? Great game. On the night after WrestleMania 28, Brock Lesnar officially returned to WWE, and you guys know the rest. That's it for this video. I believe Brock Lesnar is the strongest booked wrestler of the past 15 years. He was one of the top guys right from the beginning, so it was pretty cool that they made a star out of him. I do think he should have stayed, but he was burnt out, and he doesn't even remember anything from this run, so yeah. Anyways, make sure you hit a Brock lock on the like button and perhaps an F5 on the subscribe button. Peace, I'm out.